Welcome back. Twitter just reporting third quarter earnings. The company says growth is slowing. It is confirming it will cut 9% of its workforce. Still, the numbers are better than expected, and the stock is trading up. Kevin Kelly, your reaction overall?
Yeah, I think the important thing today on the call is the post-M&A guidance and where they're really going to take this company. They have had a very hard time growing users. Jack Dorsey said it himself that this is the People News network. It's not really a social media company. People aren't really interacting. They're just posting and looking at other people's stuff. So there's not really a big user engagement. They have about 314 million users. That pales in comparison to Facebook, where a lot of people are getting their news.
A billion a day, right?
Yeah, exactly. And people are logging in daily into Facebook. They're not doing that on Twitter. So we got to see what Jack Dorsey's going to do. But the problem here is he's actually the CEO of another company. And that's really hard. And listen,
he founded both.
Yeah, you have a fiduciary obligation to your shareholders to operate in its best interest. And I don't think it's a good thing that he's the head of two companies. The last thing I'd like to note is that Instagram, for instance, has 500 million users. So we're talking about they got to find a way to turn the growth on. And so it's not good. And you're seeing it in the share price, especially because people thought it would have been better in someone else's hands. That's why the stock rose.
Not just growing the business, but also figuring out a way to monetize the business, right, Dagen? I mean, this is an advertising, this sector is an advertising business, but you don't see ads on Twitter.
And nobody does advertising, targeted advertising better, in my opinion, than Instagram, which, by the way, is owned by, well, Facebook owns Instagram.
Right.
Correct.
So that flows right through to Facebook's bottom line. But because again, the engagement that an individual has on Instagram is altogether different than the way that people interact on Twitter. Twitter, it's hard to tell based on an individual account what someone's interests are, other than
what
maybe
they're gonna buy.
Politics or what they would buy.
In 140 characters.
I've been served ads for like men's deodorant, things like that on Twitter.
With Facebook, it's like, are you watching me at my apartment? I mean, I know they have the search history, but still, the ads are always
and Twitter's now trying to do this.
Exactly what you're doing and what you want to do.
Exactly.
Twitter is trying to transform and do the live streaming. So they've done that with NFL games. They've done it with the debates, and those have gone over very well. So they are trying to push and grow in that area. And I actually live streamed one of the debates, and it came off picture perfect. It went really well, and you got to see what people were talking about in the hashtags, and it was actually pretty entertaining. But it goes back to monetizing this asset, and they just don't know how to do it.
Meanwhile, there's Snapchat. Let's take a look at these projections. Snapchat apparently looking to raise as much as $4 billion for an IPO. According to the reports, the company's going to go public. It means the app's IPO could be valued at $25 billion. Wow. Well, good thing they said no to a $3 billion takeover a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah.
$25 billion they're valuing themselves.
And the user engagement on this is spectacular. So you're seeing they're generating tons of revenue, and they're actually dictating terms to their content providers. And people are using this multiple times a day, and this really speaks to the value. It's worth more. This valuation is worth more than Twitter.
Some people use it all day. Have you ever hung out with somebody who's always got their Snapchat on all the time? It's actually kind of annoying. But if you're out and they all the time, everything they're posting,
you're like, can you just
constantly
enjoy life?
Like, it just gets deleted, so I feel I can post whatever I want. I can just.
But millennials in particular use Snapchat over a lot of other things, right?
Yeah.
What's your favorite site?
I love Twitter, but I mean, I work in media and news, so I think it's a little different. But most people like Snapchat. I mean, especially
and Instagram.
A little younger, like my younger brother and sister who are in their early 20s, they love Snapchat. Those Instagram.
I love Instagram. I mean,
I do too.
I'm just completely obsessed with Instagram.
And Instagram copied
and it really goes to
Snapchat.
My personal interests: photography, rock and roll, and dogs. That's pretty much my life. That's my life.
Well, Instagram did copy the Snapchat.
Stories.
Yeah, they copied the stories. So you're seeing a lot of copying happen in Silicon Valley because those users are worth so much. So they're going to fight.
There's so many young people, too, who are like, me and my friends are so funny. We should have our own reality show. Like, how many times have you heard someone say that? Now they actually start doing that on Snapchat.
They've got it.
That's the problem with millennials, because they actually get jobs and then they come to work and think that cameras should be following them around 24/7.
You're right. I will take a short break, then more on the election. I mean, literally. Michael Moore, the controversial filmmaker, giving his take on why Trump will win the White House in less than 2 weeks.